Congratulatory messages are flooding in following the recognition of King Misuzulu kaZwelithini as King of the AmaZulu nation by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Experts say the King's recognition by the President means that he can now be officially enthroned and assume the duties of a king. Our reporter Bongani Gema has more.
Mixed reactions are flooding in following the President's recognition of King Misuzulu as the King of the AmaZulu. Now, this follows a court battle that reached the Pietermaritzburg High Court. We remember the judgment that was delivered by Judge Isaac Madondo, basically giving a green light to the coronation of the king. But I have with me now a legal expert, Umpumelelo Zigalala, who's going to give us a legal perspective of this recognition. Sir, thank you very much for your time. Now, the President has now declared that the king is the king of the AmaZulu. He expects the king now to be certified and assume his duties. Did this come as a surprise?
It wasn't a surprise. Let's remember that after the judgment, the court was very clear in terms of saying, President, there's nothing stopping you from recognizing Isilo as the seal of AmaZulu. All the disputes that could have been there, they are not actually disputes in their merits. We will have one letter which has nominated one individual. The other letters that you may have are simply letters of consent. You shouldn't even bother or maybe waste your time in terms of looking at them because they don't recognize or propose any other individual that is there. So according to what I'm seeing in front of me as the words of Judge Madondo, there's only one person who's been nominated. You can go ahead and recognize that particular individual as a seal. Let's remember, what you are doing, Mr. President, you are doing it in terms of the Khoisan and Traditional Leadership Act. And it simply says that the royal family must hold a meeting and submit a name to you. Now, if you look at those particular requirements, that has been done. A meeting was held, there are minutes of the meeting. There's also an individual that has been nominated. So all you have to do is simply give effect to that particular nomination and your work would have been done in terms of that particular act.
Now, should we wait for the coronation for the king to assume his duties, or now, since the President has recognized him, he's now certified to be officially the king and assume his duties?
If you look at the way things have been happening, the king, I would say the king has in fact de facto assumed his position already. He already has some sort of protection which is around him. Whenever he would go into public places where the regiments will be there, members of the public would salute him and say bayede. Those are all the telltales and attributes which are given to a king. So in terms of him assuming his duties were already assumed at a particular point in time, or even earlier than that. The only remaining aspect which was there is the recognition certificate, which should have been issued by the President, and that was done yesterday. So in terms of him occupying a seat, he has since occupied his seat a long time ago, and all that he needs to do is to move on with his daily businesses in terms of making sure that he's able to fulfill his duties as the king of AmaZulu.
Now, we know that there is a faction in the royal family that is opposed to his accession. Legally, do they have avenues that they can still pursue to challenge this recognition by the President and even his coronation?
Now, when it comes to those particular challenges, you must distinguish between two things. Firstly, is the avenue. Is the avenue there? What are the prospects of chances of success? Yes, avenues are there as they will be available to anyone who's aggrieved by any court decision. But the most important part is that on the merits of it are going to be successful if we go to another court. And I would tend to be inclined toward the line or the side of saying that the prospects of success are quite slim due to the following. Firstly, when we had the evidence which was in front of Judge Madondo, we heard that the members of the aggrieved members did not even attend the meeting that nominated Isilo Misuzulu. Now the question would be, on what basis are you then coming to court with hearsay evidence because you did not form part of the meeting and ask the court to come to your reprieve? So you can't even highlight any irregularities that have taken place within that particular meeting. So you coming to court and saying that you have a leg to stand on, you have evidence in which the court must consider. The court is not going to listen to you in those instances. So the chances of success are quite slim. So yes, they can go and appeal, but the chances of success in that particular appeal are very slim.